So this is a quickie on natural law, because there's a lot of people that don't know natural law, and it'd probably be a good idea to give them some kind of start in natural law. Okay, what is natural law? Firstly, it is been around forever, okay, since nature has been around, okay. It's all the laws of nature, the way nature works, and we can look at that physical thing and make a determination of how we should live and how we should treat other men, okay, other men and women in the world, how mankind should interact with one another. Okay, that being said, the set of laws that we live under now, there are some natural laws that are in there, and they tend to be the foundational laws. You shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, etc. Okay? What natural law really boils down to, and as quick as I can do it, is do not take something from somebody else without express permission. Do not steal from another. Okay? That is natural law in a nutshell. Do not steal somebody's belongings. Do not steal somebody's life. Do not steal somebody's well-being. Okay? Do not steal. Okay. Why can't you steal from somebody else? Because we are all equals. Okay? If we're all equal, you don't have a right to take something that belongs to somebody else, do you? You don't have that right. Okay? There has to be an agreement there before you can have something from somebody else. Okay? That's called consent. That is called balance. Where there's an agreement to exchange something, then that is balance. Okay, this is what nature works on, is balance. So do not take something from somebody else, otherwise you upset the balance. Okay, how do we even get to the are we equals and all the rest of this stuff? Well, the first thing I want you to do is to go away and get a copy of the Declaration, the so-called Declaration of Independence. It's really got another name, and the Declaration of Independence actually is, there's a name that's been stuck on there. It's not the actual true name of the document, but I don't want to go into that right now. Go get a copy of the Declaration of Independence. Read the first two paragraphs. Okay, I think it's the first two paragraphs. Anyway, that'll tell you. Just read the whole thing, but read the first two paragraphs, and it will tell you what the foundation is for this country. I'm in the United States right now, of America. I'm in. It's a fictional idea, that, but geez, I don't want to make it too complicated, this video. I'm just keeping it really simple. But it will tell you the foundation of this country is natural law. Okay, forget the Constitution for now. That's to do with man-made fictional ideas. Okay, we don't want to get into that. Okay, I know there's some bits and bobs in there that say about unalienable rights and everything else, but that's for governments, and who the hell knows really who that's for, because it was written by a bunch of entities a long time ago, and we don't even know the true meaning of it really, because you don't know what language they were really talking. Okay, so let's not get wrapped up in the Constitution for right now. Let's just focus, and we don't really know the language of the Declaration of Independence, but we're just going to assume for now that that's the foundation of the country. Okay, and that it looks like it was written by commoners. Okay, and it was accepted by the system. Okay, so you've got to have some kind of starting point. That's a good enough one, and it is actually the true starting point of all law. Okay, which is natural law. So in there it says all men are equal. Okay, and that's what really boils down to natural law. If we're all equals, you shouldn't take something from somebody else without some kind of consent, and it has to be consensual consent, not just consent under duress or something. It has to be proper consent. So, how do we know we're all equal, right? The simplest way that I can explain this without going into detail about the species and all the rest of that stuff, and there's a lot of fake ideas out there that have been put forward to try and convince people of other ideas and other ways of thinking which are not true to nature, i.e. evolution, and the language is very dodgy with that. But let's just keep it real simple for everybody. Am I above anybody else? Why am I unequal to everybody? I cannot regenerate myself, okay? I cannot live forever, and I cannot regenerate myself, okay? I need a partner in order to regenerate mankind, in order to perpetuate the species. I need an opposite, an equal and opposite to do that, okay? Not another man, thank God. I need a woman in order to perpetuate the species, okay? Now, man and woman are quite different, although we know we're the same, essentially, don't we? Different looking, okay, and different functions, okay? Those two things are a balancing force, a physical representation of balance, okay, in order to perpetuate the species. You have to have one and the other. It's a 50% union, any way you look at it, in order to continue on, okay, in order for humans to continue on, okay, right. And the terminology that I use in this, okay, don't pull me up on if I say person or human or whatever. I am talking in terms of common language that people can understand, okay? Because there'll be some people out there that will drop some comments, I'm sure. There'll be at least 3 people that drop a comment, and one of them might be that. So. Anyway, to perpetuate the species, you've got to have these two things. Now, we know that a man and a woman they're nowhere near the same thing, but they are equal, okay? So if we can assume that the opposite sex is equal, okay, then we can say a man plus a man, those two things must be equal, okay? One can't be over the other, because if a woman is equal with a man, almighty man, you know, and if a woman's equal with a man, then how can another man be over another man? Well, I got other videos on that if we really want to get into an argument over it, but trust me, I'm just trying to keep this simple. If a woman that is associated with being weaker than a man, you know, physically, if that woman can be the equal to this man, okay, or another, what I'd call weaker woman can be the equal to this man, this super strong man, then he has no authority over anybody else, you know, because we're all equals, okay, but even somebody that is represented as being physically weaker than an actual man is an equal. Okay, I'm not having a go at women here. I'm just pointing out the obvious so that people can get this into their brains. Okay, you know, you cannot say to another man, "I'm stronger than you, therefore I am more equal than you." You know that I've got authority over you. You can't say that when you yourself need the other half to your situation to be able to perpetuate yourself. Is you need another being that is, you know, inferior to you, if you like, in terms of physicality. And I'm just pointing out the obvious, okay? I'm not having a go at women. Anyway, that tells us that we are equals, We're all equals, okay? There's no getting around that. You cannot argue that you are stronger, okay? You can't argue that. You can't argue that you're more brainy. And I go into this in terms of the species in other videos, and there's a lot of other stuff you can go into. If we're all equal, then you can't go around taking something from somebody else. I have no jurisdiction to do any harm to somebody else, okay? I don't have any jurisdiction to go around and, I don't know, take a body part or cut some hair off somebody else, okay? Therefore, if a man takes things from the natural world that are not being used by anybody else, that are there freely for everybody, okay, i.e., let's say you want a bit of land, okay, but the common land is there that's being used by everyday people. It's like the road outside your house. You can't go out there and just claim the road because nobody else has claimed it, because other people have already claimed it by using it and are constantly using it. Now, if suddenly everybody moved out of the area, okay, and nobody ever used that road anymore, okay, and let's say a year went by, a full cycle on the earth, and nobody used that road, okay, I think you could be entitled to claim that road, because everybody else has ceased using it, and now you're the only person that uses it. You're the only man that uses it, and you have a right to claim that bit of land if you wanted to, okay. And then if somebody else came along later and said, well, then you'd have to argue it with them. But the point is, if there's something out there in the real world, say a pile of bricks that nobody's, that have been lying there for years and years and years, or a pile of rocks, let's use rocks, and you want to build a house out of that on your own bit of land, okay, and you claim a bit of land, nobody else has claimed it, it's not common land, nobody's grazing animals on it, nobody's coming across it hunting it all the time, it's a piece of land that nobody else is using, and you want to claim it, you're entitled to do that, okay, you're entitled to make that claim. That's not to say that you can claim 10,000 acres, because can you be in possession of 10,000 acres? I don't think so. But a small area of land, you're quite entitled to be a claimant on that bit of land, and that's your home. And if you build a home out of rocks and sticks and whatever else, you put your energy into that. Now, does anybody else have the right to come along and say, actually, I think I fancy this, I'll have it? No, they don't. You've put your energy into that. You've used something that didn't belong to anybody else, okay, and that's now yours because it's in your possession. That's how you make a claim in the real world, is by actually having possession of something, okay. That's how you really make a claim, not bits of paper, not deeds, not titles, all this stuff. Physical possession. It's a physical world, okay. The deeds and the titles and all this stuff and the birth certificate, all that stuff is all fictional nonsense that's made up so that men can trade with each other, okay. Anyway, I wanted to keep this simple. If we all knew what natural law was, we would know that there's a separation between nature and what is anti-nature, or nature, which is Christ personified, and the antichrist system, okay. There's a separation there, a perceived separation, okay, and one can't affect the other. Not proper like, there can be an effect there, but it's not always the way it should be. The effect has to be a consensual playing along with the idea effect, not you will do this or you're going to go to jail or the rest of it, Anyway, I hope that's explained it for some people out there. Natural law is the foundation of all laws, okay. This is why they have a Bible in court, okay. Even though that Bible's probably being corrupted somewhat with the language, there's a reason why that Bible's there, okay. There's a reason why we have those proper laws within the legal system, because they supersede all man-made laws. Okay, all men are equal. Do not steal something from somebody else, whether it be their life, whether it be their well-being, whether it be their property. Okay, things that they've gathered that weren't claimed by anybody else, and they have brought onto, into their possession, into their claim while they're alive on this earth. You don't have a right to take anything from that from that person. They've put their energy into picking up them rocks to make a house, cutting that tree down that they needed for firewood. They, as long as they haven't took it from nobody else, as long as it wasn't claimed by anybody else, and as long as it wasn't being used in a common way by anybody else, you don't have a right to take anything from somebody else. Okay, that's part of their physical being, and everybody is equal. You don't have a right to do it, and that's as simple as natural law gets. It's actually so simple that it's actually ridiculously simple. Okay, if you want to know why you shouldn't take something from somebody else, well, number one, if you're an equal, you can't force yourself upon somebody else, or force what you want to do on somebody else. Secondly, everything in nature works on a cycle, and the cycle is balancing two opposing things. Okay, but that's how nature works. It works on perfect balance. Okay, so you cannot go along taking something from somebody else because you're upsetting that balance. Okay, when you upset the balance, there has to be repercussions. Okay, there has to be an equal and opposite reaction to what you've done wrong. This is where the idea of karma comes in. Okay, this is why I guarantee if you get high enough up the ladder and you go man to man with a judge or somebody else that's in a position of power, and you say, I'm talking to you as a man now in a common language, and we both understand each other, what you're doing is wrong under natural, they'll back right off if you bring natural law into it, because I guarantee it, everybody that's involved with the deception of the system, they know natural law. Okay, they know how the system works, they know what the Holy Trinity is, they know exactly what nature is, they know what this reality is. Okay, they know who God is. Okay, they understand if they do something wrong under natural law, they basically put themselves in a bad position with him upstairs. Anyway, that's all I can say about it. It's 20 minutes. I wanted it to be like 10. Oh well. Sorry. That's it. Bye.